Beauty Diaries.
Hello and welcome to Beauty Diaries. My name is Namuri Etoemioya. We're doing a sequel of our Adire series, and this time we're somewhere in Nigeria, okay? Not Abeokuta. But I appreciate all the comments we got from you for watching the series that we brought to you from Abeokuta. And so many questions. I hope we'll be able to address some of it before we end the program. So today we are in Abuja. You know, in the program we said Adire is made in different places and different states. Oshogbo is one, Lagos is another. Today we're coming to you from a gallery in Abuja. We're coming to you from the NIKE Art Gallery, owned by Chief Mrs. Oyenike Monica Okundaye. She is the owner and curator of NIKE Art Galleries. Now, we're here because they produce the Adire fabric as well, and a lot of artworks. So we're bringing you the series to promote our tradition, culture, and of course tourism in Nigeria. We'll be taking you to other places where we can talk about artworks as well. I'll be talking shortly to the workshop manager of this gallery, and we'll be talking about the tie and dye. And hopefully I'll be posing some of the questions you asked me in the last episode here. Do stay tuned and enjoy the program.
Beauty Diaries.
You're welcome back. We're at the NIKE Arts Gallery in the FCT Abuja, and the NIKE Arts Gallery is situated in other parts of Nigeria, in Oshogbo, Kogi State, and Lagos State. With me is the workshop manager. He's going to talk to us about the Adire fabric. It's a big institution here, apart from making or producing Adire in Lagos and Oshogbo. Mr. Bimbola Oluwalowo is my guest on the program. Thank you so much for accepting us in your space.
You're most welcome. Thanks so much for coming to our house.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, like I said earlier, I was in Abeokuta State, where I, worked on or, tried to look at the history of Adire.
Okay.
And it's been interesting, so I decided to do a sequel. And I realized that, wow, the NIKE Art Gallery is in Abuja here.
Yeah.
We know Madam Chief Mrs. Nike, with her lovely Adire fabrics, her lovely gele or headgear, always promoting Nigerian culture. So tell us about the gallery in Abuja.
Okay.
Focusing on the production of Adire fabrics.
Okay, looking at the production, aside from the olden days, our early mother, what they do that time is that everything they use for their own batik, for their own tie, it's all natural.
Okay.
Because when they they go to the farm and then get the cotton and convert the cotton to the fabric. After that one, what they do is that then they get cassava paste.
Okay, so they weave the cotton to the
fabric.
fabric.
Weave to the fabric,
okay.
And they get the cassava paste, which called amala. Yes. So they make it so watery, like a pap. And they have their own tools that time too. They use chicken feather, they use piece of broom, and they use small knife. Chicken feather to draw anything like a cuff, that's your fabric, and then piece of broom to make anything like a line, and small pointed knife to make anything like a dot. Wow. So they use this one to achieve all their pattern on the fabric. And that one has been done, they spread it inside the sun, and after it's dry, then they get the leaf called elu leaf. The elu leaf, they will pat the elu leaf, and then they will soak it, and then they process it for 21 days. And after it gets fermented, then it turns blue color. So when they dip their fabric inside it, then they bring it out. So later, they scrape away the cassava paste out of the fabric.
Yes.
So the effect of the cassava paste to the fabric is that it prevents some part of the fabric from dye. So all the part that they draw on the fabric, so the dye will not penetrate.
Okay.
So when they do that, then you're going to achieve pattern on their fabric, just they are doing on your fabric as well too.
Okay.
That is batik, indigenous batik. Modern day method now, we get to use synthetic dye, which you can get all the color, red, yellow, different kind of colors. We imported those colors now, and then we use it to dye the fabric as well. But we use candle wax to do design instead of using cassava paste, and it's more faster. Although the one we actually do in the early days, those ones are more unique because the back of the fabric always be plain.
Okay, in the early days, we were told that it is called Adire, but now you're saying it's batik, so I'm confused.
Okay, Adire mean
tie and
are,
dye.
tie and dye.
Yes.
So when you pick some part of the fabric and then you tie it with a rope, when you dye it, so those rope prevent some fabric, part of fabric from the dye.
Yes.
So when you lose it, they're going to give you a pattern
Correct.
on it.
Yes.
So, and then tie and dye is actually one of the method under Kampala. Kampala is actually wide. We have squeezing and dye. That's where you can squeeze the fabric and confine. When you dye it, so the dye will not penetrate all the part of the fabric, so it gives you pattern.
Okay.
So when the chemical, sometimes you squeeze the fabric on the floor and then you pour the chemical on the dye on it. So when it goes to it, the glue does not get to the part of the fabric at the same time. So you have shapes of glue.
Okay.
So you do it different form. You can be folding and dye, which you fold it from fabric and then you dip a particular part to the yellow and that part to the red. So later, when the color touch themselves, you can still have chief orange. So you have like 3 or 4 colors on the fabric. So when you lose it, those colors mix together, and then it's called folding and dyeing. So those ones are under Kampala. So we have Kampala and then we have batik. Those are the 2 categories of fabric that we have.
Okay, let's talk about fabrics.
Okay.
Those days, I remember in school when we were learning fine and applied art, we used to use teru.
Okay.
And that's what you call?
Baft.
Baft, okay.
Yes.
Now, because of the production and because of quality, the fabrics have changed. Brocade, Guinea brocade, cotton, and then, you know, the other things. For instance, this cotton is it just the one you get in the market?
As we say, you know, like a lot of people actually put on the fabric now, and then sometimes you just have to go with what people want. Some people want you to be done on organza, on silk, on chiffon.
Yes, chiffon.
So we use different kind of materials, but one thing is that you have to be 100% cotton that can absorb the dye, the color.
Exactly, that's where I'm going to, because if there's some fabrics that cannot absorb dye.
Yeah, there are a lot of fabric that cannot absorb dye. There are some fabric that contain of plastic, nylon, polyesters, and elastic.
Okay.
The most of the one that normally use is actually 100% cotton. So whether silk, whether chiffon or Guinea brocade or baft and so on and so on, it can be jean as well.
Okay. All right, now let's talk about the designs.
Okay.
How are they made? Because it is a lot of work, I think, because it is art in its own, you know. How do you produce design?
Basically in NIKE Art Gallery and Osogbo as well too, most of the design we do, all of them are actually details. And we have different kind of design. We have indigenous design, we have contemporary, modern days design. Okay. For example, in the olden days, when somebody puts on fabric like this, you don't need to wear a ring. They can look at the pattern in your fabric and say, oh, you are married. Okay. Because those patterns people put on in the olden days actually signify something or carry a symbol of particular thing you want people to see on you. If you are going for naming ceremony or you are going for burial, the fabric, the pattern on your fabric can determine, people can get to know where you are going. So those times during the pattern that will be on the king's fabric is different than the pattern that will be on the palace guard fabric. So in different kind of way, we use the pattern on the fabric to do different kind of things, to communicate to the people in the olden days. And in NIKE Art Gallery, we have different way we do, like we call one Adire design, one color, 2 color. Okay. And then because, so those one, when you look at it, there are different things that on it. We have like Orokunwaro, those pattern that is on it, all of them actually have names that you see them. We have like Nema, we have Orokunwaro, we have Circle of Life. We have that, you know, in life.
Do we have any like that here right now?
Okay, let me talk about the one on your fabric first.
Oh, okay.
This one is called Circle of Life. You know, it's called like a coin.
Yeah, this one, and it's from the traditional.
Yes. Traditional. So, you know, it means that in life, that life is like a circle. When we begin from one day and then it's end one day, and then it's continue like that. And then, like if you look at this one now, this one is called fat lizard. Although it's actually like a symbol.
Okay, now that you just call the lizard.
The lizard, you see how it comes together.
It's a symbol. It's kind of abstract.
Abstract. Yes, so most of things you see on those patterns, it's actually things you can see around us in Africa.
So what's this? This is like a comb?
This is a comb. You
traditional
get
comb.
Comb, exactly.
I'm an artist, so I know.
An artist. Correct. But you know, let me clap for you because honestly, I didn't know you know that.
I love paintings and I love abstract works.
Oh, really?
So I just sit down and study and try
that means
to
you're an artist.
define and get what it's saying.
Yes, of course, that means you're an artist.
Thank you.
There are people who actually call an artist, but they don't have passion for it. You have passion for it, you're really an artist.
Well, I can't paint.
Hey, but you don't need to paint. That you love it is enough.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Beauty Diaries.
You're welcome back. Please know that Beauty Diaries can also showcase your events and artworks or your products. Everything in the beauty industry must be in Beauty Diaries. Thank you so much once again for being part of the program. Now, designs. We need to know more about designs because some people actually, wonder how you develop this. So let's
Okay, actually we have curriculum when talking of design in our gallery.
Curriculum?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
From Adire design one color, when we have design two color, then we have Adire design multicolors.
Okay.
In the olden days, our lemon normally do it with one color, but now we convert it to like two color, and then we can turn them to multicolor as well too. Yes. Apart from that one, we have something what we call freehand pattern. That when you look around you see like a horn, you see like snail, you see like different things, firewood. We combine those things together and make a pattern, and we call it freehand pattern. So things you can see inside the freehand, because when you look at the freehand, you may not really be able to comprehend it like that. So then we break them, so you can see, okay, we draw cell, draw circle, draw box, draw circle. So later we combine them together and then become freehand pattern. At that time, they can really easily comprehend and know what you are doing. And after that one, we have what we call figure cutting. The figure cutting, what you can use to do like a shirt or different things, like a logo, different like that. We have what we call numerical figure cutting, alphabetical figure cutting. You don't need to draw much that you can do this pattern.
You just trace.
Just trace. You can draw alphabet. That's your alphabet. You can confine alphabet to a figure. If you draw like here and then you turn it upside down, that's why you can add some circle to it and it becomes figure.
So don't mind me, I'm getting excited. I remember those days we used to get bottles. You know those days, bottles of the soft drinks?
Yeah.
The cover rather.
Yes.
We'll tie it in the fabric. And use it to dye. And then you just see the
design. Because of course, those things give you shape. You make it have like a round shape. If you bring cowrie as well too, you have like its own shape. If you bring stones too will have its own shape.
Now, the duration of producing these fabrics, how long does it take?
Okay.
Because in the markets you get a lot.
Yes.
But how long does it really take? How many days, weeks, months?
Okay, it depends on the pattern and design that you are doing. Some design can take you like a day. Some can even take you like 2-3 hours. Some can take like 5 days. So it depends how complicated kind of pattern that you're trying to do. And then color too.
Okay.
Because sometimes some color you need to let it dry before you apply one on it. And then it goes on like that and like that.
So in talking about yardage, how many yards do you do for commercial purpose, especially for a particular design? Okay. How many yards do you work on at that point in time?
The standard, most of them will always be 5 yards.
Oh, it must be 5, okay.
Yes. Sometimes it can be 4 yards, and sometimes the customer can determine if you just want like 3 yards or even want 10 yards to be together. Yeah,
I was going to say, what if you do like 60 yards? Can you do that? And then you now cut? Is it possible?
Yes, but that's possible. But sometimes, if you want to do it for like a group or mass production, that's when we do that.
Okay, for Ashrebi?
For Ashrebi.
Or a particular order. Interesting. Now, let's talk about the dyes.
Okay.
We said earlier at the beginning that there's indigo, there's synthetic dye.
Yes.
What is the quality of the dye? Okay. Which one should I buy if I go to the market? I know that the Alaro Dudu washes a bit after the first wash, and then it stays. The synthetic dyes, I don't know much about that. You were educators.
Okay.
And then there are others that's based on the fabric. It depends. They fade, or is there a particular soap to use to wash the fabric? Okay.
What there is that, like the Alaro Dudu, which is indigo dye, just like the synthetic dye as well. So when you dye it finish, you need to wash away the excess dye on it, so that until if you do it very well, so that on the fabric and then the water becomes very clean like a white. After that one, if you wash it, it's not going to come out. If you do process it very well. So also the synthetic dye, but there are different kind of dye today. Some of them actually not original dyes. They may not be a good one. But if you get a good one, although here we normally check anything we want to use, we use a very good original color in this place. So if you use original, when you dye it, you need to wash away as well to rinse away the excess dye on it. So after the fabric, the color of the water becomes white. You soak it and it becomes white. Definitely, after that you can use it and use it. It's not going to, the color will not going to change again to the water. But in terms of soap, it's not very good to use a very harsh detergent to wash it.
Yes.
But now there are some. It's good if you can use like a key soap. But there are some detergents now that actually have something called color protection.
Yes.
So if you are using the detergent that have a color protection, you can use it. And if you want to use normal detergent, it's better that you add salt into the water you want to use.
Okay. Yes. add salt into the water
to
ensure that the dye does not wash off.
Wash off. It may even be Ankara that you want to wash, and you do not know that it's going to wash when you want to wash it. If you had the salt inside the water you want to use, it's not going to work.
Okay, so if you don't know that now, you know. Add salt. Okay, we're getting tips here. Interesting. We'll be taking a break now. I'm bringing you Walk for Life, put together by Ayo Animation, CEO Hip TV. They brought together a lot of artists, comedians, everybody in the entertainment industry, and they all came together to walk for life. Here are some clips.
Beauty Diaries.
You're welcome back. Also know that if you are in the healthy living industry, call on us to cover your events for you or your product launch. Now let's talk about demonstrations. We'll be going out shortly to see what you do.
Yeah.
Then we can ask questions and viewers can actually see everything.
Yeah.
Beauty Diaries.
Okay, so you can see what they were doing now. Yes. Like this, this is what I call figure cutting. This one is figure cutting now. This one is Adire design. This one is Adire design. Yes. This one is two color.
Yeah.
Yes. The initial color of the fabric is white, and then we do this white, this candy. So we use candy white to design this on this one. So we dye it to this color, which you can see yellow, you can see orange.
So how do you take off the candy?
We soak into the hot water,
Very hot water.
to remove it, and then the color will stay, and then the wax will get removed. What I'm doing is called candle wax batik.
Candle wax batik.
Candle wax batik.
So why do you have to dip it separately?
Okay, because what I'm actually using, the process of candle wax batik is that you need a foam. You trim your foam into like a pencil shape like this because I'm using it to drawing on a fabric. So when you get the foam has to be high density that when you dip it into something like a liquid, it can absorb, and you bring something like plain, it can dispense on it. So when you dip and then you mix, you melt the wax on a fire like this. So when you dip the foam into it, it's going to absorb. You bring back the foam on the fabric and use it to draw pattern on the fabric.
So it doesn't matter if it is a straight line or if it is
One, you have to know what you want to do, whether you want to do straight line or it's not. You want to do straight that is not regular. But you can create pattern with either straight line or not straight line. And you can use something like a tribal mark. The name of this one is called beta cola. This one is
sun?
This is sun, yes, exactly. Yes.
Looks like a mosque or a house.
Yeah, this one like a house.
A house.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, what if the wax drops somewhere else?
somewhere else. That means you have to clean it off, or if the pattern is going to climb on it, you can just leave it here. Like this one now, you tie from this circle. We have different way of creating pattern, but it depends on what you want to do and what you want to achieve.
This one's very hot.
Yes, it's very hot, but not too very hot, because if it's too hot, it's not good. If it's too cold, it's not good. So you have to know how to control it. If it's too hot now, it will be spread on the fabric, and then there's a tendency for dye to penetrate into what you are doing. It's going to spoil your work. So if it's too hot, what we do is that we add wax to it to regulate it. So when we regulate it, then we continue what we are doing.
So if I don't know how to draw, can I do this?
Yeah, if you know how to draw, you can do it. That's why first you need to start from paper.
Okay, that's why you start
From paper. But if you want to try your hand, why not? I can give you to try your hand now.
So why not?
So, okay, try something.
Oh, no. Wait, let's do it. Oh my God, I pressed everything on it. Okay, it's supposed to be like this.
Yes, what you're actually using is tip of the foam.
I don't need to do it double.
Yes.
So this is enough. I'm spoiling this blood.
So let me do for you again. What you are using is tip of the foam, like this.
Okay,
Like this.
maybe because of where I'm standing.
Where you are standing. And when you want to do this, you just place it. You place it. And then that's it. Okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like this. Oh, this is my own line, eh? I'm not good with straight lines. I'm spoiling it now.
No, but you actually try. There are some patterns that can only look like this.
But you see, this part is bigger than this part.
Than this part, yes. That's another thing you need to learn when you are doing pattern, consistent. So what we do is that then we take it to dye. This leaf you see, this is actually indigo leaf.
Ah, finally.
Yes.
I get to see indigo.
Yes, this is indigo leaf.
Ooh.
Like this leaf now.
This one is soft, this is hard.
This is hard, yes.
Why?
Because this one actually just coming out fresh.
Oh,
and then
okay,
this one
okay.
is- So what happens is that with this one now, if you rub this one in your hand now, and then you touch your hand, it will change the color of your hand
So blue.
to blue. Gradual process. You first see something like lighter green, you see dark green, then indigo, then purple, then turn to blue.
Interesting. Oh, I love nature, so I can't help it.
Yeah. Yes. This is actually what our early mother normally used to dye on their own fabric. That's why anytime you see, Africa, when you're talking of Africa, you're talking of blue. Yeah, what they do is that they pound this leaf inside the mortar, and then they move it together like a Chinese ball. So what they do, they need the cocoa pod. You know the cocoa pod, the shell.
Yes, the shell.
So they burn it to
They burn
ashes,
it, yes.
and then when it burns to ashes, they put another pot.
And they don't use kerosene or
They-
petroleum.
yes.
They burn it naturally.
Naturally, yes.
I learned.
Of course. Yes. Yes.
Ah,
So-
see, this is what makes this. Ooh. Okay, let's go on.
So when they get that one, the ashes, they put it in one pot and add water to it. So the water they get from that cocoa pot ash, they mix another water and soak this leaf inside for 21 days. It will ferment.
Yes.
After that 21 days, so then when they want to dye, then they add little salt, the natural salt, not chemical salt. So they add it to it. And after that, when they mix together, when you dip your fabric, it will give you blue. So when you dip your fabric, you can really always get the shades of blue from it, because when you just dip your fabric and bring it out like that, you have light blue.
Okay.
So the more you keep it or the more you leave it, the more it
Okay.
gets darker.
There's eleko.
Eleko.
Is eleko different from this one?
This one, yes, eleko is different from this one. Eleko means, they are not actually use echo, but what they use, the content, it becomes like echo.
Oh, really?
You know, echo is pap,
Yes.
but what they use is amala. But it's slang or like a language.
But it's more expensive too.
It's more expensive.
Okay.
What they is amala, but they make amala so watery that look like echo. When you bring this, it's like echo.
Okay.
Yes, but echo was made from corn. Normal echo. So when they do get that one, they used to design on a fabric like this one they do. After they design it, after it's dried, then they come and dye it with the local dye.
Okay.
So when they dye it, then they scrape it away, and then they achieve the pattern on it.
Beauty Diaries.
Okay, that was an eventful tour and getting to know more about the production of Adire and of course Batik, Kampala, so many names you want to call it. In making all of this, the styles, boo-boo, it is so interesting that the styles are evolving.
Yeah.
And because the young ones are accepting it as well.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, so everybody, oh, I love your dress. Oh my goodness, what's that?
Yeah.
Everybody wants it too. And it's selling so well,
Yeah.
outside the country. So in promoting all of this, tell us how acceptable your opinion, what you have experienced in having foreigners come to, the gallery.
Okay, actually, it's actually a privilege to do this work because whenever a lot of foreigners come and they want to get something from Nigeria and then go back, people always put call across to me, oh, Laura, Africa, do you have something like this? Can we come around and then come to NIKE or come to me personally? Okay, we want something that we made in Nigeria. They always come for it. And when they come for it, some of them actually valued it. You tell them their price, and sometimes they even had more money to it. And say, okay, because this actually take a lot of work, and then I'm sure you'll have more. So it's actually something that now a lot of the whole world now coming to even though Nigeria now, they patronize this work a lot.
Yes.
And another thing is that most of the people now, maybe in the fashion industry or anywhere like that, even people are using it, bankers now are using it to sew suit, and they're actually wearing into the work. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of market for the batik and then Kampala these days. Yeah.
On that note, I want to thank you so much for accepting us in your space.
You're welcome.
And of course, our regards to Chief Mrs. Adenike Monica Okundai. I love to her. When we started the IT then, we just call Auntie Nike. Auntie Nike was our friend, and because we had a lot of things doing with her. And it's a pleasure to be here. And this is Abuja, to be here and to see this growing in leaps and bounds. So congratulations and of course continuous progress.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Okay, that's it for today's edition of the program. I'm sure you've been well informed about the Adire fabric and the processes they go through to produce this lovely art piece for you. Now, for those that are willing to learn the process or to learn the business, well, you should know where to go to by now. All the same, please send a message. Do not call on the WhatsApp line. Please send a message. And of course, your comments, your observations, you can send it via email on our Instagram page and Facebook page. So we'll meet again. I am Namuri Adire. I'll be coming to you from another part of the world. I don't know, but we may be discussing something else. All the same, remain beautiful inside and out. Bye for now.